Hey, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Can you guys hear me okay? Are we good? I haven't done this in a while. Can you guys hear me? Let me see. Put some comments in there for me. If you can see me and hear me, and I'm all good here. All right. All right. We got you there. Good. I'm really excited to be back. I haven't done this in quite a long time. I had a couple requests for it. And, I did an in-person presentation in St. Augustine last week, and I thought I'd do it for all of you. Hi, Christy. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you again. So we're just going to kind of dig into this. This is actually a presentation that I did in person last week in Florida. And I thought that you guys would like to see it. So it is a real kind of virtual presentation. While I'm going through, you certainly can put your questions, comments into the chat. More than happy to answer them. And of course, we'll have questions at the end. And you guys know I'm always here for you. All right, Deborah, Paula, hello, hello. All right, so why don't we get it, got it. Hi from Pennsylvania. All right, perfect. So why don't we kind of get into it? All right, this is what we're going to be talking about today. These are the worst updates that you can make. And there might be some of you out there who might think there are some other worse ones, but I don't know. I've kind of got my stuff laid out here for you guys. I want to tell you a story first. Oh my gosh. So this is a really funny story. This is just kind of like I don't know. This is a stupid story. So for you guys who don't know, I'm really bad at directions and I'm really bad at keys, like opening up lock boxes and doors. I know it's a pretty bad thing for real estate agents to not know directions, but this is a house. It looks pretty much similar to the house that I had gone to at a listing appointment. This was many years ago. And I went to this house and I was there for a listing appointment. The guy called me, come on over. I want to talk about listing my house. Get to the door, knock on the door, and a cleaning person answered who didn't speak any English. And so I said, oh, I'm here to meet, Robert, I think it was. And she brought me in. She didn't really know what I was saying. She pointed me to the living room and had me sit down on the couch. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, she pointed to the upstairs and she said, shower. So I understood that he was in the shower. And so I'm sitting there for like 10 minutes. And I'm like looking at my watch and I'm like thinking, what's going on? Right. So then I text him and I say, hey, I'm here. And he responds back and he says, where? And I say, I'm in your living room. He says, no, you're not in my living room. I'm in my living room. And I'm like, oh my God, I was in the wrong house. I literally was sitting in somebody else's house in their living room. And so now I had to leave. I had to go and leave. And I didn't tell this woman because she wouldn't have understood me either. And so I had to leave and just left. So she was probably like, who is that woman? Then I have to go across the street to the guy's house. And I walk in. He's like, were you in my neighbor's house? And I was like, yeah, I'm really bad at directions. So anyway, just wanted to kind of break the ice there. I thought it's one of my classic stories. I've got a few more for you guys. So anyway, for those of you, if you are a regular viewer of mine, put in the chat, first time here, let me know. Just a little bit about me. As you guys know, I host this YouTube channel. I've sold 450 million in real estate, might be a little bit more than that. I have two teams, basically, one on the North Shore of Chicago and one in St. Augustine, Florida. My daughter works with me in Chicago and she's awesome. Maybe she's on this stream. I'm not sure. So those are the two local locations that I'm in. So if you have a home in any of those areas and you're looking for an agent, that is where I sell specifically real estate. Sold over 600 homes, but as I've talked about in the past, I've sold a lot of homes, but think about all the contracts I've written. Think about all the contracts that didn't go through. So you're really looking at like thousands of contracts that I've written, thousands of transactions. And I always say I learned something new from every single deal that I'm working on. I learned something new. Been involved in over $1 billion worth of transactions. That includes the referrals that we've done. So the referrals have been over 1,200 so far that we've referred sellers, mostly sellers out to agents across the country, find them the best agents in their area. And I wrote a book about building real estate teams, which is pretty authentic and real. Don't always recommend it. So this is my husband here. You guys have probably seen him before, Mike, my husband, who does all the cooking and grocery shopping, which I hate doing. And he's actually downstairs right now getting ready for dinner. So that's awesome. And then these are our 5 girls. We have 5 girls. Yes, right there. We've got girls right now. The ages are 20, 21, 22, 23, and 23. Yes. How do you do that, right? No twins. Okay, we'll get back to that. Okay. So I want to start by saying this is a huge question that I get. And if you guys are in our Facebook group, you know, this is the question that comes up a lot, is the should I question. Should I paint? Should I replace? Should I carpet? Things like that. And so that's the biggest question that I get. And it's hard because you can't answer this in a vacuum. Okay. That's why, you know, you can't just email me and then say, should I paint my house? Okay. There's so much more that goes into it. And that's really why I do this channel, is to help you guys figure this out on your own. So you don't necessarily need to be asking me. And so I'm going to give you kind of an example of a house. And when you look at this house, these are real pictures of a listing. And you can see that the cabinetry is probably a little older. The countertop is newer. The backsplash is newer. You know, and I don't know if you can see my pointer right here. You can see this around the microwave. They had to kind of retrofit that. You can see it right here is a little bit better. So they had to retrofit that there because it didn't quite fit. So this would have been, this is like very, very typical of a listing appointment that I would go into. I come into an appointment and they'd say, oh, I redid the countertops and I redid the backsplash. And, you know, I fixed this with my microwave. And so sometimes I'll get into houses and they've already done this. And I'm like, okay, should they have done this? Was this a great, you know, dollar amount for what they were spending on? And, you know, you figure that probably was somewhere between the range of $5,000 to maybe $7,000, I'm guessing. So was that a good use of their money? Now, when I walk into somebody's home and I see this, it's too late. So you just got to kind of go with it. But wouldn't it be great for you guys to understand if you should be doing these things before you put the house on the market, before you get an agent in, because your goal is to make the most amount of money possible. So I want to show you the rest of the pictures in the house. And then I want to go back to these pictures and see if you think that these things should have been done. Okay. So this is the kind of the master bath. You can see, I think this might have been newer, but you've got this old tub. You've got these mirrors. Now, there are a lot of mirrors in this house. Okay. I mean, this is a little bit dated too. You see that fan there. It's just kind of, it's fine, right? It looks very clean, a little bit dated. Again, you got a lot of mirrors there. Now here's something you've got tile in the dining room, and not everybody loves tile either. So tile is just really, really hard to remove. But now you've got, you know, more mirrors. You've got some dated stuff in here. And this is kind of like, this wallpaper is kind of like a textured wallpaper, I think. Now you've got more mirrors, right? More mirrors in the house, more wallpaper, more mirrors. So the biggest mistake that I see is updating your home without knowing what will get you a return. And if we go back and we look at those pictures, which I want to go back real quick and just show you, when you look at all of these things that need to be updated in the house, is somebody going to buy or not buy the house because of these countertops or this backsplash? Like, that's what I need you to understand, is the house as a whole. And I think I've taught a lot of people in the Facebook group where they're starting to understand and actually teach other people in there as well. You can't look at it in a vacuum, because this kitchen, you know, even if they thought that kitchen was okay, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done in this house. Is this making sense to you guys? Like, this is the biggest mistake, updating your home without knowing what will get you a return and if it's worth it. Okay. So how do you teach this? How do I teach this? What have I sort of figured out? You know, I talk to a lot of people every day on YouTube, and the emails coming in that say, should I really wanted to teach people how to do this. So what I did, and many of you know who have downloaded my seller's playbook, I came up with this equation to teach sellers. And this is called my investment matrix. Okay, do you guys, anybody in there, put in the comments, who has done my investment matrix, who has downloaded my playbook? Go ahead and just post in there. I'm just going to grab a drink real quick. Okay. So this is a quiz that I made, and it is in my seller's playbook. So my seller's playbook is basically 40 pages of things that you need to do to get your home ready to sell. And it's got my 5 different pillars on it about what you would do, selling with strategy, what updates, staging, pricing, and how to choose an agent. And so in there, that's where this investment matrix is. Okay. So let me so I'm just going to show you here real quick, and then I'll go back to that. You can always go to sellerplaybook.com and you can download it there. So you can see it's a quiz based upon different ages of things in your home. And I'm going to get a little bit deeper into this a little bit later, but I want to show you an example of this. Because once you understand what category your home is in, then you know how much you're going to update in your home, how much you're going to spend. So I want to give you this home that had been on the market years and years ago. And this is obviously in Chicago. This is not in Florida. But this house, you can see, was very, very, very dated. And I mean, look at that driveway. So as we go through the house, you're going to see there's a lot of work that needs to be done in this house, right? So now let's say this person came to me and said, should I do my bathroom? Well, how does the rest of the house look, right? I mean, if you do one bathroom, do you do this bathroom? So not every house has to be updated. Like, that's the real thing you need to understand. Unless you're doing work over time, I mean, the house does not have to be updated. Like, should I replace my countertops and paint my cabinets? Like, somebody could come into this kitchen and put in new floors, paint those cabinets, put in new countertops, and it would look better, right? But you still have the rest of the house that is not in good shape. So this is why I created these 5 different categories. So now this house, the person who bought this house paid $279 for it. And he thought he was getting a great house to put in money to. He thought it was going to be great for, an investment. And so he did. And you can see these are his newer pictures. And he had called me many times and asked me if I would list his house. And every time I told him that I thought his price was too high, because it really was. But look what he did. I mean, he ripped everything out of this house and he replaced the whole thing. Looks great, right? Looks really, really good. But there was a reason this house would not sell still. I mean, that's the basement. I showed you guys the basement pictures. It was on the market for 2 years at $489. Now, why is that? Why is that? He paid $289 and he probably put at least $200 into it, right? And he wanted to sell it as an investment. And he couldn't understand. He put $200 into it as a great house. It was what everybody was looking for. But if you look at this, it is on a very, very busy street. Very busy street. So that street there probably has, I would say, 50,000 cars on it a day. And it backed right up to that street. So if he had said to me, should I replace my, fill in the blank for anything, without understanding the whole picture and knowing, is that house actually going to sell? It's hard to make that answer. So if he had done this, he would have known how much to actually put in and what category of home that was in. So this is what I want you to know is $1 in doesn't mean $1 out. Just because you put in, this is one of my least favorite, $100,000 into landscaping. Okay. Does not mean you're going to get $100,000 out. And if you've done that over time, if you've done that while you've lived there and you think, I put in $100,000 in landscaping, my home should be worth $100,000 more than the house next door that doesn't have this landscaping. That's not what this means. You need to understand $1 in doesn't mean $1 out. Okay. So before you make any decisions, and you guys can see there, I've got the seller playbook link there and it's free. Okay, you're going to take this quiz, which is in the handbook, but let me go over this for you real quick. Okay, again, sellerplaybook.com, QR code there isn't in the bottom. So let me show you this a little bit. So what I've done is created this quiz that shows you kind of the ages of everything in the house. And, the reason why I do this is because buyers want a base. Unless they're real investors or unless they really know what they're doing, they don't want to spend their money on uh, basic updates like a furnace. Okay. So you can see in there, I put your furnace. I show you the furnace is how old is it? 6 years, 11 years, 16 years, 20 years. And the reason why you need to know this, and for all of you out there, I know you're going to say this. My furnace is 35 years old and it still works. I have had that. Or my furnace is 20 years old and it still works just fine. And I understand it works just fine, right? But the problem is that the buyer is going to know that it may work fine, but it may quit in the next year. And there's a good chance if you have a 20-year-old furnace, 20-year-old air conditioner, 20-year-old water heater is pretty old. Those buyers are going to have to make sure they have the cash to put out within probably the next 5 years. So that's why it's really important to understand what category your home is in, okay? So like, for example, if you have a new furnace, new air, new windows, new kitchen, if you have all these things that are new, those buyers are only going to have to spend money on the things that are like fun for them, decorating, furniture, things like that. If you have all of these things that are older, the buyers are going to have to spend money on those things to get it into shape. And you're going to say, well, I lived with windows that were old. Well, I understand. But most buyers want a home that is this magical place for them. It feels good, it's updated, and it's kind of like HGTV. And you guys know if you've watched my videos on those. So a couple things I want to kind of get into in the bottom here. So paint is, really, really super important. But here's what's a hard one to talk about is the roof. And you guys know with the roof, that can be really difficult because the roof, in some areas of the country, if your roof is not newer than 10 years old, the buyers can't get insurance, which means they can't get a mortgage or they have to pay more for their insurance. So this roof one is really is a tough one to understand. You really have to talk to your local agent about that one. Okay, now I've got these other things in the bottom here that you're going to see. Cleaning frequency. Weekly, monthly, or infrequently. Because when buyers are buying a house, they want it to be clean. And by you cleaning your house every single week or a lot, you are going to see things that are broken. If you're the type of person that puts money into cleaning every week, or you're hiring somebody, or you're putting it on your schedule every week, you're probably more the type of person that fixes things when they're broken. Okay. And that's really, really, really important is the cleaning. And I know you're going to think, why does it matter? But it does matter as far as my quiz is concerned. So is it a seller's market? That you need to understand too. If it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, it's going to be a totally different feel on how much you're going to put into the house. So these are a couple of things that are really important because the layout of the home and the location of the home, those are reasons why people might not buy the home. Okay. So if you have a bad layout, like let's say you have a first floor master and people don't want a first floor master, they want all of the bedrooms on the second floor. They literally will not buy your home. Okay. Now that's not, layout of home poor. That's not really like that, but I'm just explaining the concept. Also the location. So if you like back up to a train, people will literally not buy your home if there is a train behind your home. They will not come to it, just like that house that I showed you. It backed up to that very busy street. So he was not getting showings, which means then it pushes your price down. So you have a question, AC, is it just 0 points? If you have no AC, maybe. If an older home doesn't have AC, well, that's a problem. Because if you need AC, it depends on where you are. So, okay, let me give this caveat here. This quiz is not an exact science. I should have a little asterisk there. It's not an exact science, okay? So you're going to end up in a category and you're going to be like, yeah, that kind of sounds right, or no, maybe not. So it depends on if your home needs AC. Like if you're in Florida and your home has no AC, yeah, that's a problem. So that would be like, you get 5 points. Does that make sense? So you have to kind of put it for your area. If you're, up north where a lot of homes don't have AC, that's not really necessarily that big of a deal. I might just give it 3 points. Vented out the window units. Again, Krista, that's kind of like is that a bad thing in your market? Okay. In Florida, that's going to be a bad thing in your market. I mean, I think you're in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So that's probably not a great thing. People are probably going to want to put something in. So that is a negative. That is something that the buyers will probably want. And I think that was the house you spoke to me about the other day. So these are a few things, a couple other things. So deferred maintenance, I talk about all of the time. Like, if you're going to spend your money, you have to start fixing the things that are broken. You cannot have anything broken. Okay. Now, again, I've talked about my husband who does pretty much everything around the house, which is really, really very, very nice. But he's also very big on fixing anything that's broken to the point of it being incredibly frustrating. Because I'm thinking, why are we spending money on that? Like, we don't even use that, like a light, outside in the back. Like, we're not even using that. Do we need it? And he's like, I'm fixing these lights out back, And I mean, he did. He spent a lot of time, trying to get different light bulbs and making sure it was all good. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's the whole point, is because if you don't fix these things while you're living in the home, right before you go on the market, you're going to have to spend quite a bit of money, and it will be even more costly for you. And if you don't take care of your home over time, it will come out in the end. I promise. I've seen it. You have to do and fix your deferred maintenance. So if you have a lot of deferred maintenance, that's going to be a real negative. So the other thing I want you to look at, and then the floor question, okay? People are like, well, I have carpet in some areas, and then I have hardwood in other areas. Well, then just give yourself, the middle of the road. Like, again, not an exact science. Don't stress out too much about this. It's just to kind of give you a guide. So this is also what I want you to look at is there a reason that someone wouldn't buy your home? Okay. Incredibly important. You have to be very aware of this. Anybody in our chat right now, put in there, I want to hear I want you to understand this. Is there a reason someone might not buy your home? Okay. Like Krista, they might not buy it because there's no AC, or, it backs up to a train, or it's on a busy road, or, in the Chicagoland area, it has no basement. In the Florida area, maybe it doesn't have a pool. I mean, that can kind of go either way, but just something that would be a reason. Is there a reason someone would not want to buy your home? It's really important. So once you take that quiz, you're going to end up in one of these 5 categories. Okay. So restoration required, concealable condition, surface shine, unpolished potential, and modern move-in. And I'm going to go through these in a second. So for example, we got a couple things in the chat. A big oak tree in neighbor's yard leans towards the house. That could be a reason somebody might not buy the home if the neighbor isn't willing to remove it and it looks very dangerous. They're like, we're just not going to deal with this. Absolutely. Very small backyard. Yes, that is a reason somebody might not buy your home. Now, it doesn't mean that nobody will buy your home. It just means that somebody might not buy your home. And somebody says, several reasons. Okay, so this is awareness. That's all I'm doing here, is giving you guys awareness. So let's go into the restoration required category. And this is the one that I just showed you. Okay, let me grab a drink. This is the one I just showed you. And old mechanicals. Mechanicals would be considered to be your AC, your furnace, things like that, your roof, the things that are on the interior gut side of it, okay? There's a lot of deferred maintenance, like everything's broken. Like most of these homes would be considered to be a total gut home. It is not cosmetically updated at all whatsoever. And it really does need complete updating. Like your buyer is somebody who's going to rip everything out. So if that's the case, you may not have as many buyers looking at it because a lot of buyers may not be interested in that. So this is what you're going to do is if you have a restoration required home, and I want you to comment in here if you think you have one of these. If you have a restoration required home, I just want you fixing the disclosure items. Okay. So like if you have water, if you have any safety issues, electrical issues, anything like that, water is a big deal. So if you have your roof leaking or you get water into your basement, anything like that. Yeah. So, I mean, here we are, we have a 50-year-old water heater. I mean, like if you have a restoration required home and you have a 50-year-old water heater, I would say forget it. No need to put a new one in at all. But if you are in a, if you're in a unpolished potential and you have a 50-year-old water heater, yeah, that could be a reason somebody's like, I'm not necessarily going to buy it because of the water heater. That's not the reason somebody's not buying this home. So there is no staging. There is no painting. There is nothing. Here's the key. Everything will sell for a price. I've talked about this many, many times. This has to be priced correctly. Okay. If I showed you that house that sold for $279 and I listed it at $1, it would sell. It's an over exaggeration, right? But it would sell. So you cannot fake it. You can, I know you guys know I talk about, fake it, take it, make it. You're going to fake it, fake the way the house looks. You're going to take great pictures and you're going to make the money. This house cannot be faked. Don't try it. Don't think about it. Don't put $1 into it. So many people waste a lot of money making updates at the stage. Okay. And I do. I have a lot of people who have maybe not as bad as the house that I just showed you, but a lot of people reaching out to me saying that everything is really bad and they need to get it all ready. They need to redo the bathrooms and the flooring and they need to paint. No, it just needs to be priced right. And the reason why is because you're going to risk money. And a lot of people who have this condition of a home don't necessarily have the money to put out into the home to make it look better. So that's really the issue, is they don't have the money. So I don't want you taking money out, of your IRA. I don't want you refinancing your home. I don't want you using your home equity line to fund this type of a home. You're risking your money. So please don't do that. So this budget is usually going to be 1 to 3% of the home's value. Okay, so if you're at a $5,000 home that you think it's around $500,000, you're at $5,000 to $15,000, and that's basically going to be repairing the deferred maintenance. Okay, remember, if you guys have questions, post it in there, and I will be happy to answer. Concealable condition. This is my second category. So this really does have old mechanicals and deferred maintenance. Not much has been updated, but this is somebody who, they love their home. They haven't really been keeping up with it. Maybe one spouse wants to, the other one doesn't. They haven't really done many updates. It's very hard to put lipstick on it. Okay. It's very hard to make it look like it's a different higher category, because you can tell, like, maybe it hasn't been cleaned a lot, or, maybe there's some broken items, things like that. So you're not going to spend too much money updating cosmetically on this. I really want you to spend money on this one with paint, maybe, and maybe stage, maybe. It depends on what category, what level it is in there. If you're closer to restoration required, don't stage. But if you're closer to like a surface shine, that can help, and we'll get into the next category. This is what I'm going to say: clean, 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 clean everything. Like, you cannot clean enough at one cleaning before you go on the market. If you think you're going to do one deep clean before you go on the market, you are going to be missing the boat, because, you could have, let's say, hair, dog hair under your bed for years that you've never seen because you've never really done much cleaning in that bedroom that you've never used. It's just a lot of extra work. So cleaning weekly, 2 times a month is great. Fix obviously broken items, no question. You're going to make the house show better. That's the key. It's just got to show better and make it as presentable as possible. Now, I want to show you this picture here. I don't know if you can really see it. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can really see it. So see that picture there? I use this picture because you can see that flooring looks like shiny or something. Like, it looks like they tried to do something on the floors, or maybe redid the floors. Like, this is a concealable condition home. Like, this is what I see as concealable condition, is there's something wrong with the floors. And this was in all the pictures, so if you go ahead and paint, which they did, you can see they painted all these walls gray, which, by the way, that is not a good color gray. I want you to have them a grayish, like a beige gray, but they just were like, we need to paint the house, right? So what they did is they just painted the house. And you can see that then they still have those flooring issues there. So when a buyer comes in, they're like, what about these floors? Like, yeah, you painted, but like, what about the floors? Okay. So I want you to be thinking about that for sure. So surface shine category, I say this is my least favorite category, but there might be a lot of reasons you end up in surface shine. You might have brand new roof and, brand new kitchen, but then you have an old AC and old windows or something like that. Usually I'm looking at the surface shine, which is it looks good. Okay, usually this is the kind of home that really looks good, but there's a lot of deferred maintenance in it. And you can't really tell that there's deferred maintenance in it. So this is the most potential for disaster. This is the one that, you get to the inspection and then there's a huge list of inspection items and you might have to give large credits or fix things. So if you're hiding, I don't mean like you're hiding it in a bad way. I mean, you're focused on your updates, the way the house looks, but you're neglecting everything else. This is really where your deal might fall apart in the inspection. So this is faked, but not necessarily in a good way because there's not really a great base. You might get an offer at a premium. Like these are the homes where people think, oh my gosh, that house looks so fantastic. Wow, look at the staging, look at the painting. I love these finishes. And then you get to the inspection and then they're like, whoa, I didn't realize that this house has never been taken care of. There's water in the crawl space. There's all these different items. So like that's where there's a good chance that it might fall through. So this budget I say is at 3 to 7% of the home's value. Again, these are just kind of rough numbers. This isn't an exact science. Maybe someday I'll do a study on it, but this is just kind of rough numbers, okay? Now, unpolished potential is my favorite because it's got newer mechanicals. There is zero deferred maintenance. Okay, zero, like none. Like it's clean. The windows are in great shape. The furnace is in great shape. The air is in great shape. There's nothing broken in the whole house. This is where I would consider my house right now. We're not super cosmetically updated. We have a lot of great things in our house, but our house is a little bit dated. So that's what I would say is kind of like if you have an unpolished potential, those buyers love this type of home because that really has the most potential for them to add on and to do what they want over time. They can come and live in there over time. So this can be faked. Like this is the one where I say you can spend the most amount of money getting this home ready to sell because you're most likely going to have a return. You're going to get a return. You're going to have a strong base. So staging is really probably with fake furniture, especially if you are in a more of a dated home and your furniture is older, okay? If your furniture is older and you have an unpolished potential home, gosh, I really would love to see you stage the house to make it faked. These young buyers, they look at this like, wow, that looks so cute, when literally all it is the bedroom that has carpet on it. But now that you've added the cute furniture and the super accessories, they're like, oh, this is so cute. Like it just adds some emotion to it. Okay. So that's where I really want you to stage. And you really can see a huge upside depending on the market. You have to price it right, correct. You have to price it right though. So this budget is 5 to 10% of the home's value. That's where I think you can spend the most amount of money. Now, use your judgment. Don't be like, well, Katie said we can only spend, 10% of our home's value on staging and updating. I mean, don't do that. These are guidelines to kind of show you where you're at, okay? So modern move-in, this is, a home that is really well taken care of. They have great furniture. Everything looks updated. It might be newer, no deferred maintenance. There's no need to fake this. These sellers live like this, okay? It's really high end. Every time people walk in the house, they're like, oh my gosh, I love your home. Now, here's the thing. Really, all you're going to be doing is taking great photos. That's really, really key with these. And you might accessorize, but you're not necessarily going to need to bring in furniture, okay? This is where you can get a real premium for the home. You can get the highest dollar amount in your market if you have a modern move-in home. However, you're not going to get all the money out that you put into your home. So if you put $150,000 into your landscaping, you're not getting it out. Okay. But what it's going to do is it's going to help your home sell faster at the top of the market. So this type of home, I don't want anybody shooting for who is thinking they're moving. That's not the goal here. This is the type of home that you should be shooting for if you live there. This is updating your home to make it what you really want it to be. So when I say newer, I think your updates need to be less than 7 years. Okay. And this is up to about 5% of the home's value. Okay. All right. So now that I've gone through that, and some of you have cheated because you've already downloaded my playbook, what category is your home? What category do you guys think your home is in? Again, I'm going to have another drink. You guys tell me. I mean, anybody. I know, delayed people. That's all right. You can tell me. I want to hear. And you can keep putting it in there. Okay. So what category is your home? That's what I want to know. Category 4. So that's unpolished potential, Marianne, is what I'm saying. Category 4. So that's good. That's good. Modern move-in. Donna, great. Perfect. Catherine, unpolished potential. Perfect. Number 1. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Now I wouldn't even, I'm just going to call you Bud. Bud, we'll call you Bud, has a 1. So that's restoration required. So restoration required. Now that you're here, you need to understand that you just need to price it correctly. I don't want you putting a lot of money into your home. You're not going to get it out. In Arizona, HOA community has 2 pools. Okay, we bought the house. I'm going to answer this question later. Okay, Anya. Unpolished potential. Perfect. So is there a reason somebody might not buy your home? That's what you need to ask yourself. That's what you need to be honest about. Okay. Is there a reason someone might not buy your home? Yes. So now I'm going to talk to you about what are those worst updates that you can make. What are going to get you the lowest return? Now, these are also my seller playbook. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're all here. So you don't have to, download that if you don't want to. And I'm telling you, I don't spam you or anything like that. I'm just giving you links to my other videos that I think are good. So no pressure at all for anything. You can just see it all on the screen here. All right. These are low return and expensive. Okay. Low return. Avoid these upgrades. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm all spaced out here. Okay. Low return is, these are the worst updates you can make. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. HVAC replacement. Okay. Now, for those of you people who have an unpolished potential, say, but my HVAC is 12 years old. These are people who take really good care of their homes. And they're like, but it's 12 years old. Do not replace it. Okay. Your HVAC system only has to work. That's it. A new buyer does not get a new HVAC system. Now, if you're going to be in the house for another 2 years, 5 years, then yeah, replace it because you're doing it for you and it will help you sell your home faster. But when you add all these things up right before you go to sell, it's just too expensive, way too expensive. Add or upgrade a deck or patio, cement walkways. I hate this. And so this is the thing, is most people, again, who have unpolished potential, who have a cracked sidewalk or a cracked driveway, think that they have to do that. And this is like the biggest money pit, is to redo anything cement, anything asphalt. And so if you're not doing that over time, it's going to cost you way too much money just to do it right before you sell. It's a very, very expensive update. And I don't particularly care for that. That's when you really need to talk to an agent. Replacing the driveway, same thing. Very expensive. And you will not get a return on it. You may sell your home faster, but you're not going to get a return. Finish an attic. I mean, that's kind of silly. Okay, solar panels. I know some people love their solar panels. You will not get a return on these when you go to sell your home. Some people don't like them at all. I'm not saying you shouldn't put them in for you. Like, I was talking to somebody who had asked me, and he said, we're going to be in this house for the next 10 years. Should we put on solar panels? Will it hurt our home? I said, well, yeah, maybe. I said, but you want solar panels, so put solar panels in. I mean, what is it going to hurt in the end? I don't know. Maybe they don't get 5 people coming to look at the house because there's a reason somebody won't buy the house, but they will have lived with solar panels for 10 years. Okay. So I just want you to think about that. These are all items you want to do for yourself. Major landscaping, major landscaping. It is super expensive. It will help sell your home, but do not do major landscaping right before you move. Sprinkler system as well. Soundproofing. These are basic things. All right. Now we're going to get into the best updates you can make. These are the high return, low expense. These are the things that you should be focused on before you put your home on the market. Okay. Before, like within the next year, if you're putting your home on the next year, these are things you want to be doing. Okay. Surprise. I know you guys know me. Clean and paint, super important, significant. Even if your paint is like somewhat neutral, like even the homes that have a little bit of a yellow tint aren't as fresh as homes that have more of like a grayish tint, a little bit of a warm gray. And so they seem like they're a little dated. Yellow is definitely dated. Colors are dated. So whether or not your home is dated, if the paint is dated, the home looks dated. So whether or not your furniture is updated, if your furniture is dated, your home will look dated. Okay. And I've got 100 videos on buyers and what they're looking at, but they go very, very quick through the homes when they're looking at them. And if it doesn't give them, this, energy, this love, this excitement, they're going to go right past it. Updating lighting fixtures. This is really simple and easy. Not very expensive. I mean, I'm really recommending Wayfair or Home Depot. And so you're going to go there, you're going to pick out something that's simple and, works for the space. Update hardware and hinges. This is a big deal for sure as well. Hold on 1 second. So this really helps a home not look dated because that's a big project, but it's not super expensive to have somebody do. So regrout tiles, fresh caulk. Who's been here a long time? Whoever, because I think I tell the same stories over and over again. Okay. Tile and caulk and moldy tile in bathtubs. Like, okay, seen thousands of bathrooms, right? I'll go into a bathroom and there's the curtain, and then I move the curtain back so I can look at the grout lines in the tub or in the shower. Because if somebody has moldy grout lines in the shower, it means to me there's probably other maintenance that they haven't picked up. Like this is super cheap, super easy, and it makes it look fresh. You want somebody to come into your home like they would come into a hotel. Okay, so you go into a hotel and you pull back the shower curtain and you see mold in the corners, you are grossed out. Okay, that's how I want you to think. That's how I want you to think about your house there. Okay. Yeah. The other thing is if you're having showings, if you're having showings and you have a showing at 10 and it's 9:45 and you're getting out of the shower and you take that wet towel and hang it up, it's gross. Like, don't do it either. People don't like coming into a shower that feels like it's just been used. I guess the analogy is like, let's say you just go into a hotel room and the shower had just been used. Like, you'd be grossed out. I think that's what you need to think about how you're showing the home. Okay. Trim trees and bushes. Totally worth it. Clean up landscaping. Restain or seal wooden decks. Big one too. Do not replace decks. It's super expensive. Power wash. Love power washing. Love it, love it, love it. It is one of the biggest returns and it makes such a big difference. When people see things that are, the home that is sharp and fresh, that makes a real big difference. Clean your carpet. Yes, if you're not replacing it, definitely you need to clean it. Repair fencing. Do not put up a new fence. Do not repair it. Declutter, remove personal items for sure. That's really it. Okay. Replace and fix the doorbell. If your doorbell is broken, does anybody have a broken doorbell out there? If your doorbell is broken, you need to fix it because a doorbell is like, I'm not talking about like a Ring doorbell. I'm talking about like a little plastic doorbell with the light on it and you push it and then it goes ding dong, like that one. If it's broken, when somebody walks up to the door, that is literally the very first thing they see in your home. And if somebody cannot replace a $20 doorbell, what else is in the house that they haven't fixed? That's $200. So fix your doorbells. $10 at Home Depot. Yep. Repair the roof. Don't replace. If your roof is not leaking, you do not have to replace it unless it's over 10 years, and then you need to talk to the agent in your area about insurance on that. So now these are things that, and again, these are all in the playbook, this whole list, but high return, moderate expense. So like, these are all things I would suggest that you do while you're living there and enjoying it. I mean, if you're 6 months to a year before you're planning on moving, I would probably say almost no. Maybe paint the cabinets if you know for sure it's going to be a good look. But all these other things are pretty expensive, moderate expensive, and you want to do them for you because you want to live there. Okay, so I hear this all the time. For all of you wives out there whose husbands say, why are we replacing this? Why are we doing this? This is why, because you want to live in the house the way you want to live in it. And if you do it right before you go to move, you're going to be wasting your money and throwing it away. Okay. Bathroom vanity as well. So these are not really worth it unless you're doing it for your own enjoyment, right? Remodeling the bathrooms, replacing windows or doors, kitchen, basement, outdoor living spaces. Okay, you guys got that? Like, these are maybe, but again, they're all things that you need to be doing while you're living there. Okay, I just want you to think about this. Do these things for yourself, enjoy it for yourself. And remember, not every dollar in needs to be a dollar out. You are making a home for yourselves where you love, where you want to be, where you raise your families. You have enjoyment. And so make that environment what you want it to be. Don't just think, well, we'll just do it before we move. Do it now. Enjoy it, right? So low return, this is basic maintenance that you need to be doing. It won't increase your return, but it will make your home sell probably quicker if you're following these things and you're doing those things. All right. Same thing with all of this stuff in here. Do them for yourselves. The earlier, the better. The water heater that's 50 years old. I mean, it depends on what stage your home is in. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a water heater that's 50 years old. Like, water heaters do not usually have that kind of life, which you're going to say to me, but that means it's a good water heater. I hear that all the time too. Garage doors, those can be expensive too. Do those over time. Okay. So what is your goal? What is your goal? If you're here at this channel because you are thinking you will be selling at some point in the future. So what is your goal? Of course, it's to sell, but it is to net the most amount of money. Like, that's it. That is your goal. It's not to one-up your neighbor. It's not to showcase how awesome your house looks. It's not to do anything other than to net the most amount of money. That's it. Okay. That's why you need to be thinking about this as a business decision. So what is the most important thing that you can do to maintain your home's value? You guys probably know. Clean, 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 because that leads to other things. The cleaning leads to seeing that the light bulb is broken. It leads to seeing that, the floor looks bad in that location, or that you need to touch up a bit of paint here or there. That's why it's kind of like the basic thing that you can do. Fix any broken items. You cannot go into your inspection with broken things, because then you'll have to pay a credit. And the problem is it gets all emotional, and then the buyers get in their head, and then they may not purchase the home. Paint. Paint is the cheapest, most significant thing you can do to increase your home's value and to help get it sell quicker. Again, I have paint colors in that seller's playbook, all listed there for you to see. Okay. So your home doesn't have to be updated. It needs to have a great base. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in a minute. So I'm going to show you a home with unpolished potential, and then we're going to get into some questions. Okay. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat right now and I will get to them because we're almost finished. Okay, unpolished potential. I'm going to show you an amazing unpolished potential home that I had that was one of my listings. And before we get into it, remember, there is the QR code. You can download the seller's playbook. Okay, because all this stuff is in there. So look at this cute little house. Look at this cute little house. Isn't that darling? I mean, super cute. But what I want you to look at is how neat that looks, right? There's not fancy landscaping, but the brick looks great. It looks just like everything's straight, right? You've got some mulch down there. The bushes look straight. It just looks really nice. Now, you would not walk up to this home and see a broken doorbell, right? I can't imagine you would. All right. I want you to look at this. What is that? You guys see what that is? You see what that is? That is plastic on the carpet. Yes, plastic on the carpet. Wait, plastic on the carpet. Right. So that means that they are very worried about their carpet getting dirty, right? This shows in how they care for the home, right? Now look at this kitchen. That looks pretty dated, doesn't it? Looks very dated. But, and I think, is that vinyl? It might have been vinyl on the floor. I'm not quite sure. But look, it's so clean. Somebody could move in there and live there, right? Look at how clean that is and perfect. Doesn't have new countertops, doesn't have a new backsplash, but it looks so nice. And look at this. It just looks sharp and fresh. It's all very, very dated, right? But it was so clean in this house. So it was a $389 list price, and this was a down market. And it sold in multiple offers right over list. And that's why, because the buyers saw the potential in it, hence unpolished potential. So remember, $1 in does not mean $1 out. Just because you put in $20,000 on new garage doors doesn't mean you're going to get it out before you go to sell. You need to think about this over time. And if you're working towards that modern move-in, which is that fantastic home that you love, you got great furniture, all that thing, do it over time. Enjoy it, love it, live it. And then your home will sell much, much faster as well. All right, so seller's playbook here. I'm going to leave it up for a few minutes, but I am going to go through some of these questions and see if you guys have questions for me. Put them in the chat. Okay. Oh, you guys were good here. Lots of comments. All right. Krista, yes. 1937 home that she had in Pennsylvania. Oh, right. Yeah. An 1890s home. That's a reason somebody might not buy the house. So you need to think about that when you're putting money into getting the house ready for sale, right? So been working on deferred maintenance since October. He's a perfectionist. Okay, that's another thing, is that it's tough when you are living with a perfectionist because they won't necessarily start a project if they can't get it done perfectly. So those are a lot of people who end up with the concealable condition homes because they know it's not going to be exactly perfect the way they want, so they don't do anything. Okay, you have to get to the point where you're just pushing forward and doing it. Okay. Donna says she's a modern move-in. Awesome. Awesome. All right, let's see. The neighbor's house is for sale. Kid you not, the very first online picture is a cell phone picture from the street at a wonky angle with oil stains on the road and garbage cans. Okay, that person has obviously not watched my channel because there are a lot of reasons on that one. So, Deborah, shoot her this link. Now, maybe not this one because we're talking about her. Shoot her one of my other videos. Okay, Catherine has an unpolished potential. That does not surprise me. Catherine, you've been a loyal viewer since we started. So thank you. And we're just going to say Bud is I don't know. Bud is a 1. So Bud, don't put too much money into it. Okay. Some new mechanicals. All right. I'm going to look at this. In Arizona, HOA community has 2 pools. Our house at the end of the cul-de-sac, large lot, no pool. We bought a house 21 years ago because it did not have a pool. Raised our family. People want pools. It depends. So it depends. That's why you have to talk to an agent. It depends on where you are. In the Chicagoland area, people don't want a pool, right? It depends on your subdivision specifically in your market. I can't tell you that, but a local agent for sure can. Okay. Let's see. Unpolished potential. Pool home, new mechanical, kitchen up, not updated. I mean, that's okay. If you're planning on moving right now, don't worry about it. Like, I wouldn't update your kitchen. And a couple things I forgot to mention is that you guys know, if you do need a real estate agent, a bunch of you in this chat have had me refer you agents. I have the link in the description down below, and you can go ahead and I'll find you an agent, and 2 to 3. And the way it works is you really need to talk to a local agent in your market who's good, okay? Not just a friend has referred. And in my book, I've got all those questions too. Back up to a gym, we have 14-foot privacy trees. That's great. That's what you've done is you've taken the reason somebody won't buy that house and you put trees on it. That's awesome. I think my daughter's house is concealable condition since it was flipped when she bought it 5 years ago. It probably needs electrical work, but other than that, the AC. Yeah. So builders many times do the surface shine, concealable condition homes. And that's why builder grade homes, you have to be very careful. If you're buying a flip, they will usually just update like, the kitchen, the bathrooms, and they make it look good. And then you go to the inspection and all the mechanicals are super dated. Do not want to give all my personal information to get the seller's handbook. I get that. But you don't have to. I mean, if you want, you can shoot me an email. I can send it over to you. I don't really, I mean, for those of you who download it, I just basically give you my, I give you an email about what to do, like some of my videos, if you need an agent, things like that. But I'm not like a spammer like that, but I get that. Let's see. So Victoria, I'm redoing walkway. It's crumbling, moving in 1.5 years. Yeah. If you have something that's really like that, that might be something I would do. I'm usually talking about like a crack or something that just isn't working, for some people. So last thing we'll be doing except for painting, what color do you suggest? Okay. In my seller's playbook, I've got a bunch of different colors. You need to look at your woodwork. Most likely your woodwork, okay? Like in your kitchen or if you have floors. And you need to know if your woodwork leans warm, okay? Like it's a little bit warmish color, a little bit yellowish or reddish color. You've got to pick a warmer color. And that's the problem with that gray that builders used to use, that gray that I showed you before, is that is a cool color and that doesn't work with warm floors. So one of my favorite colors that is easy, simple, and done, you can use it on the trim work or on the walls, is white dove. That is a really, really good color that nobody objects to at all. Like if you're literally just painting to move, that's a super easy color. You can go into like Revere Pewter, which is a big color, Edgecombe Gray, which is, some of these colors shift a little bit in the light depending on where you are. So it's kind of, you have to be careful. Like this color behind me, it kind of looks, right now, I guess it looks a little, I don't know, blue, gray. I don't know what that looks, but it's not. It's really more like a yellowish color. And so like accessible beige, which is what I have here, is through the whole house. And it looks different, I swear, in every single room. So you might want to test it out for sure. The other house we have to sell is Unpolished Potential. Should we paint the cherry red data cabinets? I would say no. No. And one of the reasons why is because a lot of the young buyers, not like the millennial buyers necessarily, but the young buyers, like in their 20s, early 30s, maybe not quite early 30s, they like the woodwork. And especially the cherry, like I would not touch that unless you are a decorator and know what you're doing. And unless you've done a whole redo of the kitchen. Like I just wouldn't touch those, I'd have to see a picture and I'd have to see the rest of those. So my house, the lights are on, but nobody's home. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I probably missed it in the conversation. Yeah, that was for the doorbell. Yep. Okay. Unpolished Potential. My husband's very handy and we've kept it top of, yes. So that is perfect. Unpolished Potential. Those are the types of homes that sell really, really well. New smoke detectors. Good. That's good. That's great. Replace yellow or painted switches and outlets. That's a huge one actually too. That goes along with the hinges. So if your switches are yellowish, not whitish, that is a dated look. And people do actually come in and replace all those. So that's a very easy fix. That's not super expensive. Full home generator, a plus when selling. I had one put in 2.5 years ago. It is, but you're not going to get your money back like dollar for dollar. So if you paid $10,000 for it, it doesn't mean that you're going to get $10,000 out. It means that you most likely really, really take care of your home and it's going to get it sold a lot quicker for more money. So that's great. Coils and thermos, that's on that. That's on that water heater. I'm sure you did. I don't know. On that water heater that's 50 years old. Yep, low asking price to hopefully get quick multiple offers first week of July. Any objection can be overcome by a low price. Any objection at all. You give me an objection and I'll tell you your price is probably too high. No landlord special paint jobs. Yeah, that's a big deal too. You don't want cheap DIY work. So if you don't paint, then you need to hire somebody to paint. Do not make your home the first thing that you paint. Okay, hire somebody. Donna said you referred us, our agent, and we love her. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Good. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, maybe don't pick white carpet. Yeah, well, that's right. I know, with the plastic on top. Absolutely. Some people like the old styles. I find right now that like my daughter's age, she's 23, almost 24, and she loves the woodwork. And I think and the furniture that's older. And I think that's because she knows she can't really get quality furniture right now. That's real wood. So that's why I'm a little bit maybe moving back a little bit. Paint colors selling in 1 year. Look at my seller's playbook. There's some great colors in there that are all neutral. And you could probably go with any of those that are not just, you know, the white dove, which is white-ish. It's like a warmish white a little bit. We bought our house in early 2000s. Everything was Tuscan back then. What's the style look nowadays? Well, not really Tuscan. What market are you in? Did you say you're in the Arizona market? Because that's the style down there. It is what it is. Now, I'm going to guess that your home has large, warm color tiles, right? So a lot of those homes down there, they want tile, a lot of tile. And so if you're looking to replace tile to get it more updated, it's a real commitment because tile is so personal and tile is really, really hard to get out. So that's like a major commitment. So it's hard to kind of update those style homes. You know, maybe if you've got the speckled granite countertops, you probably need a decorator more. In those homes, I would definitely try and take some of the yellowish out that probably is and stage. And then you're kind of faking it. So that would be kind of a fake it. I don't want you spending too much money on redecorating unless you're doing it for yourself. If you're doing it for yourself, then go for it, for sure. Oh, love real hardwood. I love it. It never goes out of style. Agreed. Agreed. Is aluminum wiring a won't buy a house? Yes, most likely. It depends. I don't know where you are. But yeah, because most people, especially people with young children, are going to think there's probably some issue going on, right or wrong. Like it's like mold. Mold. I mean, mold is in everybody's attic. It's everywhere we live. Some buyers won't buy a house if it says there's mold. So it all depends on what the buyers are like. But yeah, for sure. One spot on hardwood floor is worn from high traffic. Dog suggestions. Do I have to replace everything? It's all through the house. No. Now I did a video on this and I think it was the day in the life video. If you can find it, it's got, I had a seller that had very, very scuffed up flooring and he was just going, he was going to just kind of do a little skim over a little bit. But what he did is he got somebody very, very cheap and they came in and they kind of fixed the whole thing like very inexpensively. So I would talk to different flooring people. I don't think you need to do the whole thing. Just you're faking it. Okay. So you're looking for something you can maybe rub on the floor to kind of cover up those scratches. Though here's the thing I say about hardwood floors is you should not redo hardwood floors before you move. And the reason is because it is very difficult to remove all of your furniture. Very, very difficult to remove your furniture. In addition, most of the time when the house is empty, that is the time for the buyers to redo the flooring. So, you know, if you're in an inexpensive house and you think you need to do it, you might need to because those buyers may not have a lot of money to put towards it. That's not one of my favorites. I would definitely ask an agent for sure. Sunlight will yellow orange hardwood flooring and wood cabinets over time. Yeah, the cherry, definitely. That is a problem and dated, but that's like something I really leave to the next buyers because you don't want to do anything to kind of, you know, mess it up there. This is your daughter. She bought during COVID when no one was doing inspections. So now we'll have to get an inspection done to see what it needs. So the idea of doing an inspection before you list, you need to do that if you're going to fix everything. And usually I find that the homes that have unpolished potential owners are willing to do that. The homes that have concealable condition, they never thought it was important to fix anything in the beginning, and they don't think it's important now. So that's why if you do an inspection, you come up with a disclosure item, you have to disclose it, okay? For sure. We remodeled windows last year. We plan to move next spring, but now the roof needs to be replaced. Is it rough enough that it will be a negotiation? You should replace or offer a concession. Okay, so depends on the roof, how old it really is, and your market. Like I said, your market, your buyer may not be able to get insurance, and if they might not get a mortgage. Now, that you can kind of overcome that because then they can just pay more for it. So it all depends on where you price the house. You really need to talk to an agent in your area to know what the market's like. It all depends. Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? What list price are you looking at? How much are you looking to get out of it? If the roof is leaking, yeah, you need to replace it. Now, here's my thought on offering a concession. I don't like offering concessions on anything. Nothing. I don't like offering concessions on like carpet or anything like that, because you offer it up front. Oh, we're going to give you $5,000 to do XYZ. And then when it comes time to negotiate, they don't remember that you've already offered that. Like, they don't remember. And then you're like, but I'm already giving you $5,000. They do not remember. It doesn't matter. So like what I would do is if you don't have to get it replaced, okay, let's say your roof is going to cost you $15,000. What you might say is, we'll wait until the inspection and then we'll see what they say. Now, if it is a disclosure item, you've got to fix it. I would think you really do need to fix it or replace it. But if it's not leaking, the roof is super old, you know it's going to be an issue. You know the roof is going to cost $15,000. They come to you at the inspection and then they say, you know, we want a $5,000 credit for a roof. Great, here's $5,000. You've saved 10. That's why I don't love concessions up front, okay? I don't think they really work very much. Yeah, no boob lights. Yes. Fix sagging closet shelves. Yes. Anything that's broken, replace old doors, restain dirty grout lines on flooring made a huge difference in my. That is true. I just had a house that did this, and I couldn't really tell if those were the real grout lines or like they were just dirty, and they were dirty, and it changed the whole look of the floor. I have professional murals and faux. I am tempted to keep them until a buyer wants to paint over, then comply. Not going to work. Now I mean, you just have to realize that somebody may not buy your house because of that. It just is not, you know, so if they are that much, you are going to get people who look at that photo and they're like, holy cow, now I've got to put in, you know, $10,000 to paint the house. Like, I hate telling people this because, you know, it's their home, but as you start to do this stuff, you're going to depersonalize from the house. It's no longer going to be yours. So you've got to get an agent out there who can talk to you about that. I hate to say this. Let's put it this way. You have to be committed to moving. Okay. You have to be. Like, I'm not going to make any suggestions unless somebody is like, I'm moving. I remember in one of my last videos, I said, the worst thing somebody can say to me is, I don't have to sell. Then why are you doing all this? Like, not because of me, but like, then why are you going through all this stress and this pressure and this pain? Like, don't sell. If you don't have to sell, don't test the market. Like, if you're going forward, go forward for sure. For sure. Just a couple more questions. We're going to end up while you guys are still here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do. I really focus on making sure that I'm giving you good, authentic information, real, so that you can be informed when you're talking to agents or you're trying to navigate the whole market. I also have my Facebook group. Links are down below in the description, both the Facebook group, Find an Agent, and the Seller's Playbook as well. In the unpolished potential townhouse, I'm thinking we should do LVP on the first floor because the carpet is shot and the builder put in cheap laminate foyer. Yeah. If the laminate is in the foyer in the kitchen, I would. Now, LVP is great. Luxury vinyl plank is great for resale. Okay. But don't go with the cold gray one. There's some really nice ones out there that look really good that aren't super expensive. I do like that for resale for sure. Grout markers at Menards for $7. Thank you. And the first flooring looks bad. Upstairs is okay to get carpet cleaned. Yeah, you definitely, for sure, for sure. Okay, so we're going to end up today. That was a little over an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know I'm always around for you guys if you need me in the Facebook group. You need an agent. You want the seller's playbook. Make sure you download that. Like I said, I'm not spamming you or anything. You can unsubscribe at any time. I'm here to be a resource for you. I'm here to help you sell your home fast for more money and stress-free. So you guys know, reach out anytime. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.